Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Broku. Welcome back to the channel. And so basically, yesterday I was discussing with one of my in real life friends the latest chapter for Black Clover, in which, spoilers, Asta gave up his arm to the devil in exchange for more of the anti-magic devil power. This was stated to be a devil's bargain, and we discussed how this could actually be a somewhat dire and disastrous thing for Asta in the future of the series. So I kind of want to go over that in this video. So with that being said, let's just kind of get into it quickly. I do want to say one thing, that I do have a fitness channel, so if you guys are into diet, exercise, just overall fitness and nutrition, please subscribe. That's called Hall of Gains. That channel will be linked below in the description. But anyways, guys, so we were going over what this could mean for the future, and this might be confirming or adding a lot more credibility to one of the common theories ever since the beginning of the series that's only been partially backed up more and more as the series has gone along, and that is that Asta and Yuno are going to have to fight each other at the end of the series, because one of them, likely Asta, is going to be evil, and it might not be under his own volition. But according to the series, actually won't be under his own volition or his own will. It would actually be the anti-magic devil. But yeah, this theory, it's always kind of been iffy for me. I think it'd be really cool, but then again, it's just going to be annoying because all the Naruto fans are just going to say, oh, you're copying Naruto, because it's going to be Asta and Yuno fighting at the end, just like Yuno and Sasuke. Although, in a way, it would likely be quite different, because one, this would be the comparison is Asta and Naruto. Well, this would make it so that Asta would be the kind of bad guy, whereas in Naruto, it was Sasuke as the bad guy that Naruto had to fight. So this would be the main character's rival having to save the world, whereas it was the reverse in Naruto. But anyways, we were talking about how, we're only like 200 and whatever chapters in the series, and it's just now Asta's arm that has been sacrificed through the devil's bargain to the devil for more devil power. So this is just his arm, and we were discussing that it might be that by the end of the series, this anti-magic devil will slowly build up and take more and more parts of Asta as he needs more and more power. And this could lead to a very disastrous thing by the end, where the devil pretty much has or owns Asta's body, and now has a vessel to do whatever he wants within the real world. And yeah, this would be like just pure insanity. So we know that it's very likely that Vanica has done a devil's bargain before, as I would assume that her eye is like that because of a devil's bargain, although we don't really have any proof for that. But anyways, the crazy fan theory that's been going on for a while is that at the very end, it's going to be Asta and Yuno fighting. One of them is going to be evil, and I think that it's going to be maybe Asta, because he does have the devil that is possessing him. And it also would fit the parallel of the Lit and Lumiere cycle. This is going to be another cycle. In that instance, Lit of sword magic fought Lumiere, and we all know what happened. And Lit was the one that had the demon/devil connection. In this, it would also be Asta, who is wielding the same exact grimoire as Lit. And, you have the Boy Wonder, the four-leaf clover kid, Lumiere, and then Yuno. So it would be a very interesting rehash of the cycle, a parallel to what has already happened. And so it's very likely what's going to happen is Asta is going to need more power later on in the series. He's going to have to keep sacrificing parts of his body. Now, I don't know exactly how it's going to work. It seems like he might still have his arm, he just can't use it, because Vanica has to wear an eye patch over her eye. Don't really know how exactly Asta's arm's going to work, but what if the next fight, Asta needs more power, gives up his leg, and then over the course, maybe every arc, he gives up another part of his body, and then in the end, the anti-magic devil now has the entire vessel for Asta, and the final battle is Asta's devil, and Yuno is going to have to take him on. That would be incredibly just crazy to think about. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, the anti-magic devil doesn't seem to be nearly as evil as the other devils, and I actually completely agree, although it could be a part of his just grand plan. he could be a plotter, just like Zagred. I mean, he'd be good at it because none of the other devils know who he is, so it'd be great and easy for him to do so. He's already been plotting quite well. And while he has treated Asta seemingly decently, it could be just to butter Asta up so they could get more and more power from him, more and more parts of Asta's body towards him over the course of his entire plan, over the course of the entire series. He would be playing it pretty safe, as he tried to take Asta's body in the Witch's Forest arc. Didn't work out. It just ended up that Asta was accessing more anti-magic power through the swords. And then when it came to fighting Zagred, Asta got the two-horn black form, and that was due to basically what happened is it was that the anti-magic devil was resonating with Zagred, and then the three-horn berserk form, that was when the anti-magic devil was incredibly pissed off at Zagred through Asta's emotions, or not Zagred, Dante. And then now you have this form where it's just Asta. He's in a lesser form overall, the black form, but he has the devil arm. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how the series goes down. Asta needs more and more power throughout the series. He'll get that through training, but he'll also get that through sacrificing parts of his body to his devil, and to the point where he will succumb to darkness, and the anti-magic devil will manifest in the real world, in Earth, or whatever this world is called, and Yuno is going to be the one that has to take him down. That is something I think could be very epic, especially if it's been built up. Now, this does kind of go against of what I wanted the final battle to be. I want the final battle to be Asta and Yuno just having a friendly rival fight to decide who would become the Wizard King. Not basically a fight that would save the world or the universe, and a fight that would cause one to have to kill the other. The whole, attraction I have to Asta and Yuno's rivalry is the fact that it is a completely different one to that of Naruto and Sasuke, a rivalry built completely on respect and love. And while, again, it'd still be quite different because it would flip the roles in the case of Naruto and Sasuke and Asta and Yuno, but also, in this instance, it would be Asta not having control of his body. And this also could lead to maybe another theory, is Asta could have to straight up fight his devil. And what happens in the end here? Is the ending here where Asta finally achieves all of his goals, maybe becomes the Wizard King, and then he has to give up his final, part of his soul or his body, and the anti-magic devil takes over, and then Yuno has to kill the devil, and then Asta then loses all of his power, and he's just down to his physical strength? Because if he has to, if he's gonna survive, it'd have to be basically the devil gets killed, but then Asta is somehow fine, but he doesn't have his power anymore. Or I guess you could have it so that the devil is succumbed, and then Asta is just basically still using the devil power. The devil just can't get out. There's so many ways that can be handled, but that would be a crazy and just brutal ending to the series, where Asta, he saves the kingdom, he reforms the kingdom, he becomes the Wizard King, and then he loses his anti-magic power. Now, of course, Asta would still be a force to be reckoned with without his anti-magic. I make this case so many times, and people still don't know how, can't understand it, but, like I've said, a base Asta can move faster than Mirlena's magic. He can damage Third Eye Raya, and that was a Elf Arc base Asta. The current base Asta would be drastically above that, and then the end of the series base Asta would be even many tiers above that as well by then. So he still would be a force to be reckoned with, very likely. It's just he wouldn't have that hacks ability that can amp him even higher. Now, this is something that a lot of people talk about for a while. The series ending on an evil Asta fighting a Yuno to save the world. Again, it mirrors the whole Licht and Lumiere thing, although that would be cool. I still just want the final battle to be Asta and Yuno fighting just to see who will become the Wizard King. We've been building up for an Asta Yuno fight ever since the beginning of the series, ever since we've shown that they practiced and trained against each other as they were kids, and then also it was almost going to happen in the tournament. Asta has his black form, Yuno gets a spirit dive, Yuno is saving spirit dive for Asta was saving black form for Yuno, and then it just didn't work out. That was a huge tease that Tabata had thrown in there that that tournament, Asta and Yuno should have fought. They didn't. And then the next one was Yuno becoming an elf in the beginning. People didn't know if Yuno was actually going to be a good elf until after it was revealed. So a lot of people thought that once Yuno was turned into an elf, that then this is where we're going to get the Asta and Yuno fight. But no, Yuno was a good guy. So no great Asta and Yuno fight has happened yet, and we're at over 250 chapters into the series. So that's why I think that this fight is going to be saved for last. Tabata keeps teasing it, and yet it still hasn't happened. So I think this fight will be saved for the end of the series. I also just think that it would be very cool for either way, in my opinion. I know I really want it to happen one way, but it would be also really cool for Asta to build up that he gives pieces and piece of himself to the anti-magic devil. He does reform. He reforms the kingdom. He saves the world. Peasants and commoners are, not looked down upon anymore. Maybe Asta's just about to become the Wizard King. He's been a captain for a while. But in a crazy battle, he has to give up the last part of his body, maybe his soul, something like that. And then that leads to the anti-magic devil manifesting into the real world. And that's when Yuno would have to take him down. That would be a crazy final battle. But then that actually takes a lot away from what Tabata would be building up. Because that wouldn't be an Asta versus Yuno fight. That would be an Asta versus Yuno versus the anti-magic devil fight. That wouldn't be a fight of Asta and Yuno, because when I envision the fight of Asta and Yuno, the final fight or whatever, the when they finally do battle, it's gonna be filled with emotion. It's gonna be filled with flashbacks. It's going to be filled with good dialogue between the two. They're probably both going to be hyping each other up throughout the fight, because that's what they do for each other. They're going to be reminiscing on stuff they've done in the past. They're going to be revealing new and cool abilities. I think it's going to be pretty chill. Like, it's not going to be that dastardly. But if it's the anti-magic devil in control of Asta's body, it takes away all of that. It's the point where Yuno isn't even fighting Asta, and we're not going to get the Asta and Yuno fight. It's going to be Yuno versus the anti-magic devil. So I really hope that we maybe would get two fights. Yuno defeats the anti-magic devil. After that, Asta gets to fight Yuno. That would be something that I could get down with, but if it's just Yuno fighting the anti-magic devil who is possessing Asta, it's not going to be the same. We're not going to get those flashbacks, the dialogue between the two, the witty remarks, the hyping each other up, revealing new spells and techniques to each other. That would be kind of meh when Tabata's been building this fight up for so long. But with that being said, what do you guys think about this theory and discussion? Was Asta going to give up more and more body parts throughout the series, or is he just going to stop here, or maybe he'll give maybe a bit more parts of his body, but he will stop at a certain point to realize that he can't give up too much, or else he's pretty screwed. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...